Ladies and gentlemen, worry is a natural part of life, but it is also one of the heaviest burdens a heart can carry. Every day, people wake up with fears about the future, about health, wealth, family, or personal ambitions. Yet worry is often based on assumptions, uncertainties, and the illusion that we are in control of everything. The Quran reminds us, and rely upon Allah, and sufficient is Allah as disposer of affairs. When we understand that ultimate control lies with the Creator, the one who manages the heavens and the earth, we realize that worry is not only unnecessary but counterproductive. It clouds judgment, weakens the heart, and blinds us to the mercy and guidance Allah places around us. The first step to overcoming worry is understanding its source. Often we worry because we try to anticipate every outcome, plan for every possibility, and carry the weight of the unknown on our own shoulders. Life feels uncertain, and we fear that things may go wrong. Yet every moment of worry is a moment of doubt in Allah's wisdom. The believer is reminded to replace fear with trust, confusion with prayer, and despair with hope. Just as a traveler trusts a guide to lead them safely through a dark and winding path, the heart that trusts Allah finds direction and protection even in uncertainty. Trusting Allah's plan transforms worry into peace. Surrendering to His wisdom does not mean inaction. It means acknowledging that while we make effort, the outcomes are in the hands of the most merciful. The Quran says, "No calamity befalls upon the earth or in yourselves except that it is in a register before we bring it into being. Indeed, that is easy for Allah." Understanding this creates a profound sense of relief. Life is not chaotic, and every difficulty is purposeful. Doors that seem closed may be protection, delays may be preparation, and setbacks may be blessings in disguise. Trust allows us to see beyond immediate discomfort and recognize the divine orchestration behind every situation. Recognizing signs of Allah's mercy is essential in moments of worry. Often relief comes in subtle ways: a chance conversation, a new opportunity, or a shift in perspective. These signs may arrive when least expected, but the heart that is attuned to Allah through prayer and reflection can perceive them. Consider someone burdened by financial struggles who prays sincerely while taking small, consistent steps forward. Perhaps an unexpected job opportunity arises, or a neighbor offers assistance at the perfect moment. These are not mere coincidences. They are the manifestations of Allah's care and guidance, visible to those who have faith. Stories from real life further illustrate the power of patience, faith, and trust in Allah. People who have faced illness, loss, or failure often testify that their greatest moments of growth and blessing came after periods of deep worry and despair. One person may have lost a job, only to find a career that brought fulfillment, stability, and joy. Another may have faced heartbreak, later discovering a path of spiritual and personal growth that would have been impossible otherwise. Worry clouds vision, faith illuminates the path. The believer who perseveres, maintains prayer, and keeps hope alive positions themselves to recognize and embrace blessings when they arrive. Practical steps to move from worry to reliance are simple yet profound. Begin with prayer, seek Allah's guidance, and make dhikr consistently. Replace negative thoughts with trust, and turn anxiety into action where possible. Planning responsibly while surrendering the outcome to Allah. Surround yourself with reminders of His mercy through the Quran, uplifting company, and reflection on past blessings. Every step taken in faith strengthens the heart, diminishes worry, and opens doors to guidance, clarity, and relief. When we stop carrying the burden of the world alone, and instead place it in the hands of the one who controls everything, worry loses its power, and life transforms into a journey of hope, trust, and divine blessing. Worry is a weight that sits heavily on the heart, often uninvited yet persistent. It creeps into our mornings and lingers into our nights, coloring every thought with fear and uncertainty. The heart begins to imagine the worst outcomes, magnifying small challenges into insurmountable obstacles. But what exactly causes worry? Often it is the illusion of control, the mistaken belief that we must anticipate every outcome and manage every situation ourselves. We worry about our health, finances, relationships, and futures because we feel responsible for outcomes that are ultimately in the hands of Allah. The Quran reminds us, "And rely upon Allah, and sufficient is Allah as disposer of affairs." This verse is not merely advice. It is a reminder that worry is unnecessary when the one who created the heavens and the earth is watching over every detail of our lives. Worry also arises from uncertainty. The human mind struggles with the unknown, with what cannot be predicted or controlled. We plan, we strategize, and yet the unexpected always arrives. A sudden illness, a financial setback, a broken relationship. These events shake our sense of stability and feed anxiety, yet worry stems not from the events themselves but from our resistance to surrendering them to Allah. The heart that resists divine wisdom clings to control, while the heart that trusts Allah finds relief and clarity. Just as a traveler does not question the guidance of an experienced guide, the believer learns to trust that Allah's wisdom surpasses human understanding. Another source of worry is comparison and envy. When we look at others and perceive their lives as easier, more prosperous, or more peaceful, our hearts become restless. We begin to question why we face hardship while others seem untouched. The Quran addresses this directly, reminding us that every soul is tested in ways that may not be visible, and we will surely test you with something of fear and hunger, and a loss of wealth and lives and fruits, but give good tidings to the patient. Worry blinds us to our blessings, whereas patience and trust illuminate them. Each trial we face is purposeful, a training ground for patience, resilience, and gratitude. The believer who understands this sees challenges not as curses but as opportunities for growth, refinement, and preparation for greater blessings. Worry also thrives on imagining outcomes that may never occur. The mind rehearses scenarios endlessly, predicting disaster and magnifying risks. This is often called mental suffering because the heart suffers for events that may never materialize. Here faith becomes a shield. By turning thoughts toward Allah, by reminding oneself that He is the protector, provider, and guide, the believer interrupts the spiral of anxiety. The Prophet ﷺ taught that the heart that trusts Allah finds peace even amid uncertainty. When the heart is trained to redirect fear into prayer, doubt into reflection, and anxiety into remembrance, worry loses its power to dominate the soul. Real-life examples demonstrate the pervasive yet unnecessary nature of worry. A person may fret over financial instability, imagining months of hardship, yet when they trust Allah, seek guidance, and take practical steps, solutions often appear unexpectedly. Another may worry over a relationship, fearing rejection or disappointment, but sincere prayer and reliance on Allah can bring reconciliation, understanding, or redirection toward better paths. These outcomes are signs that worry, while natural, is not productive. It clouds perception and delays action. The believer who learns to identify the roots of worry, fear, control, comparison, and uncertainty, can replace it with trust, patience, and focused effort. Understanding worry is the first step toward liberation. When we recognize that worry stems from resisting Allah's plan, overestimating our control, and fearing the unknown, we can begin to release its hold on our hearts. Reflection, prayer, and remembrance become tools to redirect anxiety into hope. The Quran reassures us that Allah is fully aware of our struggles and is always near, saying, "Do not grieve, indeed Allah is with us." By internalizing this truth, the believer begins to untangle the knots of fear, finding the first glimpses of peace, clarity, and readiness for the blessings that Allah has already prepared. Trusting Allah's plan is the antidote to worry, yet it is often easier said than done. The human heart struggles with uncertainty, and the mind is quick to imagine countless outcomes, many of them negative. When we surrender to Allah's wisdom, however, worry loses its grip. Trust, or tawakkul, is not passive resignation, it is an active reliance on Allah, while still taking responsible steps in life. It is understanding that while we plan, strive, and act, the ultimate outcomes are determined by the Most Merciful. The Quran says, "And whoever relies upon Allah, then He is sufficient for him." Trust brings relief because it shifts our focus from what we cannot control to what we can, our intentions, actions, and sincerity, while leaving the results in Allah's hand. Many people worry because they feel alone in their struggles, as if no one sees or understands their difficulties. Yet trusting Allah reminds the believer that nothing escapes His knowledge. Every moment of hardship, every delayed dream, every closed door is seen and measured with perfect wisdom. Trust means understanding that what appears as hardship may be a hidden mercy, and what seems like delay may be preparation for something far greater. The Quran reminds us, "Perhaps you hate a thing, and it is good for you, and perhaps you love a thing, and it is bad for you. Allah knows, while you know not." This perspective changes the way we approach life. Worry diminishes because we begin to recognize that even when the path is unclear, Allah's guidance is present, and His wisdom is perfect. Trust also transforms patience. Worry often arises from impatience, a desire for immediate resolution, immediate comfort, or immediate success. The heart feels restless because it wants life to align with its timetable rather than Allah's. When we trust Allah, we cultivate patience, understanding that His timing is flawless. The Prophet ﷺ endured immense trials throughout his life, rejection, loss, betrayal, and hardship, yet he trusted Allah's plan and remained steadfast. His trust allowed him to navigate life with clarity and peace, demonstrating that true reliance on Allah frees the heart from unnecessary anxiety. The believer who mirrors this trust experiences relief, even when challenges remain, because the heart is anchored in faith rather than fear. Real-life examples illustrate the power of trust. Consider someone struggling to find a job, worried about financial stability, and unsure of the future. By trusting Allah, continuing to seek employment with sincere effort, and engaging in prayer and dhikr, doors begin to open in ways that exceed expectation. Perhaps an unexpected opportunity arises, or a new skill becomes the gateway to a better position. Someone facing illness may fear the worst, yet trust allows them to follow treatment, remain patient, and accept divine wisdom. Often healing or relief comes in ways they could never have imagined. Trust bridges the gap between human effort and divine decree, transforming worry into hope and anxiety into reliance. Trust also reshapes perspective on setbacks. A delay, a rejection, or a failure is no longer a cause for despair, but a signal that Allah's wisdom is at work. Perhaps the opportunity that seemed lost was not suitable, and a better one awaits. Perhaps a trial is a protection or a preparation for future responsibilities. When trust becomes a habit, the believer stops resisting life's uncertainties and begins to navigate them with courage, clarity, and confidence. Worry diminishes because the heart recognizes that Allah's plan is always better than our own, and every outcome carries a purpose even if unseen. Moreover, trust in Allah deepens gratitude. When we rely on Him fully, we begin to see how many blessings were present even in challenging moments. Opportunities, protection, guidance, and support often appear subtly, and a heart anchored in trust is able to notice them. Gratitude reinforces reliance, creating a cycle where faith grows, worry fades, and hope flourishes. The believer learns to accept life's trials with serenity, knowing that every situation, every delay, and every challenge is under the perfect control of the Most Merciful. Recognizing the signs of Allah's mercy in our lives is essential to overcoming worry and cultivating hope. Often we are so consumed by our fears and anxieties that we fail to see the subtle guidance and blessings that surround us. These signs can be small: a timely conversation, a chance encounter, an unexpected solution to a problem, yet they carry profound significance. The Quran reminds us, "And He gives you from all you ask of Him," and if you should count the favor of Allah, you could not enumerate them. Every mercy, every moment of relief, and every opportunity is a sign of Allah's care, and the heart that observes these signs begins to trust more deeply, worry less, and anticipate blessings with faith. Understanding these signs requires awareness and mindfulness. Life is full of moments that may initially seem trivial or coincidental, but in truth they are orchestrated by Allah for our benefit. A person struggling with a difficult decision may find clarity in a casual comment from a friend or a verse in the Quran that suddenly resonates at the perfect time. Someone facing financial difficulty may receive unexpected assistance or discover a new avenue of income they had not considered. These moments are Allah's signs, reminders that we are not alone, that our prayers are heard, and that His plan is unfolding even when we cannot see the full picture. The heart that is attuned to Allah's mercy recognizes these signals and responds with gratitude, trust, and renewed hope. Real-life experiences illustrate the transformative power of recognizing divine signs. Consider someone worried about a failing business or unstable finances. They continue to pray and seek guidance, maintaining awareness for opportunities and solutions. Perhaps a partnership emerges, a new client appears, or a shift in the market aligns perfectly with their strategy. These events are not random, they are signs of Allah's mercy, appearing at the precise moment to guide, protect, and uplift. Another example could be a person struggling with personal relationships or family conflicts. When they remain patient, engage in sincere prayer, and stay mindful of Allah's guidance, moments of reconciliation, understanding, or unexpected kindness often arise, transforming tension into harmony. Recognizing these signs teaches the believer that worry is unnecessary because Allah is always working behind the scenes. Patience and attentiveness are crucial to perceiving these signs. The heart that is anxious or restless is often too preoccupied to notice the subtle ways Allah intervenes. Dhikr, prayer, reflection on the Quran, and mindful observation of daily life help the believer cultivate the awareness needed to perceive these divine indications. The Prophet ﷺ integrated this awareness throughout his life, seeing guidance, mercy and protection in situations where others might have seen only difficulty or danger. By aligning the heart with Allah through remembrance and reflection, the believer learns to recognize mercy in every circumstance, even amidst hardship, and begins to view challenges as opportunities rather than obstacles. Signs of Allah's mercy also inspire action. When the believer perceives guidance or an opening, it is not a signal for passivity, but a call to act with faith, wisdom and courage. Perhaps a new job opportunity appears, requiring preparation and confidence. Perhaps a personal relationship offers a chance for healing, requiring humility and patience. Each sign is a door, and the believer who responds appropriately positions themselves to receive the full blessings Allah has prepared. Recognizing these signs transforms worry into hope, hesitation into action, and fear into courage. Moreover, these signs cultivate gratitude and trust. Every moment of mercy, guidance, or subtle relief strengthens faith, reinforcing the heart's reliance on Allah. The believer begins to understand that nothing occurs by chance. Every event is purposeful, every delay meaningful, and every blessing deliberate. Worry diminishes as awareness grows, and hope flourishes, because the heart sees the continuous unbroken presence of divine care. By observing Allah's signs, the believer learns that even when circumstances appear uncertain, there is always guidance, mercy and provision awaiting those who trust, persevere, and remain attentive to the blessings that surround them. Stories of transformation and resilience remind us that patience, faith, and trust in Allah can overcome even the deepest worries. Life is filled with trials, financial struggles, health challenges, relationship difficulties, and personal disappointments. Yet history and lived experiences show that those who persevere with reliance on Allah often emerge stronger, wiser, and blessed in unexpected ways. These stories teach us that worry, while natural, is often unnecessary when the heart is anchored in trust, prayer, and sincere effort. They show that setbacks are rarely permanent, and that divine wisdom often works in ways that are invisible to us at the moment. Consider the example of a person facing unemployment, anxious about bills, obligations, and future security. The initial response may be panic or despair, yet those who place their trust in Allah, maintain consistent prayer, and seek opportunities actively often experience breakthroughs that seem almost miraculous. Perhaps a chance meeting leads to a job offer perfectly suited to their skills. Perhaps a small opportunity arises that gradually grows into stability and abundance. These moments are not coincidences, but signs of divine orchestration, demonstrating that patience and faith are active tools that prepare the believer to receive blessings when the time is right. The individual's worry diminishes as trust grows, and their actions become aligned with guidance and opportunity. Another example can be seen in personal relationships. A person experiencing tension with family members or friends may feel overwhelmed, anxious, or hopeless about reconciliation. Yet by maintaining patience, engaging in prayer, and acting with humility and sincerity, doors of understanding and forgiveness can open unexpectedly. Perhaps a conversation that seemed impossible becomes possible, or a gesture of kindness softens hearts in ways that were unimaginable before. These experiences highlight that worry often clouds perception, while faith and perseverance illuminate solutions that were always present but hidden to anxious eyes. The believer learns to recognize that every trial carries a lesson, every difficulty is an opportunity for growth, and every act of trust positions them to receive Allah's mercy. Health challenges also demonstrate the transformative power of patience and reliance on Allah. Someone facing a medical condition may initially feel fear, anxiety, or hopelessness. However, a heart grounded in trust, accompanied by sincere supplication and consistent remembrance, often experiences calm, clarity, and resilience. Recovery may come gradually or unexpectedly, sometimes through treatment, sometimes through the support of loved ones, and sometimes in ways that defy expectation. These stories remind us that worry does not alter the course of events, but faith, patience, and action create the conditions for blessings to manifest. The believer learns that trials are not signs of neglect, but instruments of growth, refinement, and preparation for greater mercy. Even small, everyday challenges provide lessons. A student struggling with studies may feel anxiety, fearing failure, or disappointment. Yet consistent effort, prayer, and trust in Allah often reveal solutions that were not initially visible. A teacher's guidance, an unexpected insight, or newfound motivation. The initial worry fades as the believer's heart aligns with divine support, and success becomes a product of faith, perseverance, and recognition of Allah's mercy. The story of struggle followed by relief repeats across countless experiences,
demonstrating a consistent pattern. Worry clouds the path, trust illuminates it, and patience prepares the heart to receive what Allah has already destined. These stories also highlight the importance of mindset. The believer who perceives challenges as temporary, purposeful, and opportunities for spiritual growth transforms worry into proactive, constructive energy. Each setback becomes a stepping stone, each obstacle a lesson, and each delay a preparation for what is to come. Patience and faith reshape not only outcomes but the heart itself, creating resilience, clarity, and a deeper connection to Allah. Through these examples, it becomes evident that worry is often a sign of misplaced focus, while patience, trust, and reliance on Allah reveal a path of guidance, mercy, and transformation that can turn despair into hope and difficulty into blessing. Moving from worry to reliance on Allah requires practical steps that combine faith, reflection, and deliberate action. Worry often keeps the believer in a state of inaction, overthinking, and fear, while reliance encourages movement, clarity, and purpose. The first step is prayer, turning to Allah with sincerity, acknowledging our limitations, and seeking His guidance. Prayer is not just a ritual, it is a direct line to the one who controls everything, a moment of connection that reminds the heart it is not alone. When anxiety begins to overwhelm, the believer finds solace in asking Allah for clarity, patience, and ease, trusting that He will provide solutions in His perfect timing. Consistent dhikr is another powerful tool in transforming worry into reliance. Repetition of phrases praising and remembering Allah centers the heart and mind, replacing fear and uncertainty with peace and focus. The Quran emphasizes, "Verily, in the remembrance of Allah, do hearts find rest." Each utterance is a reminder of divine presence, protection, and wisdom, allowing the believer to step back from obsessive thinking and surrender the uncontrollable to Allah. Through dhikr, the heart is trained to recognize signs of mercy and guidance that may otherwise go unnoticed, making it easier to act when doors open and opportunities appear. Reflection on Allah's blessings is equally important. Worry often arises from focusing on what is lacking rather than appreciating what is present. By listing and contemplating past mercies, answered prayers, and moments of protection, the believer strengthens gratitude and faith. Gratitude shifts the heart from despair to hope, reminding the soul that Allah's care is constant, and that relief often follows periods of difficulty. Even small signs of provision, guidance, and support serve as confirmation that Allah is attentive to every need, and that His timing is perfect. Practical action complements prayer and reflection. Trusting Allah does not mean passivity, it means acting responsibly while leaving the results to Him. If a person is anxious about finances, they take steps to earn, save, and manage resources while maintaining trust that Allah will provide. If someone is concerned about relationships, they act with patience, kindness, and understanding, leaving the outcome in Allah's hands. Action, guided by faith and intention, ensures that reliance is active rather than passive, transforming worry into constructive energy that aligns with divine guidance. Seeking support and advice from trustworthy sources also aids in relieving worry. Islam encourages consultation, shura, and learning from others, as long as it is paired with trust in Allah. Discussing concerns with wise and empathetic individuals can provide perspective, guidance, and solutions, but the believer remains aware that ultimate outcomes belong to Allah. This balance between seeking practical help and surrendering to divine will strengthens resilience and equips the heart to respond appropriately to challenges. Additionally, maintaining a routine that nurtures spiritual and mental well-being helps manage worry. Reading the Quran, making dhikr, engaging in prayer, reflecting on Allah's signs, and staying mindful of His wisdom create a consistent foundation of faith. This foundation allows the believer to face life's uncertainties with calm and clarity, reducing the tendency to panic or overthink. Life becomes a process of trust, observation, and readiness rather than fear and hesitation. Finally, recognizing that worry is temporary and often exaggerated allows the believer to take control of their perspective. Every challenge carries purpose, every delay holds wisdom, and every hardship is a potential source of growth. By internalizing these truths, the believer strengthens reliance, cultivates patience, and prepares their heart to act when Allah opens doors. The integration of prayer, dhikr, reflection, responsible action, and gratitude ensures that worry no longer dominates the soul, allowing the believer to live with trust, hope, and readiness to embrace the blessings that Allah has already prepared and continues to unfold in perfect timing.